Hello and welcome to Perspectives, where we take a deep dive into the issues of the day and where we take a look at people's opinions on such issues. I am Ruth Osime. Today we dive into the key issues shaping Nigeria's political and social landscape. First off, we have Martins Ose, aka Very Dark Man, VDM. He's out of EFCC custody, but his dramatic Gestapo-style arrest has left a cloud of questions. While EFCC insists due process was followed, the optics have many people asking how consistent is justice in this country and who really gets treated fairly. Then comes Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who ticked the box with an apology letter but wrapped it in satire and sharp jabs at the Senate President Akpabio. What was meant to smoothen tensions has now unraveled into a defamation suit and a full-blown political tangle. The twists and turns here are so tangled, they deserve their own name. Let's call it the Abuja knot, defiant and almost impossible to untie. And finally, Senate President Akpabio takes aim at former Governor Peter Obi, leader of the Labour Party, questioning his credibility while the Labour Party battles internal chaos. But should party squabbles silence national critique? Or is that just another distraction from the deeper issues Nigerians face? Tonight, we unpack power, accountability, and expression in a democracy that's still finding its voice. Let's get into it. But before the conversation, we're due for a short break. However, do stay with us because we'll be right back to introduce the wonderful people on the show this week. Joseph Edgar, and we're expecting Agba Jalingo and Jimmy Abia. Perspectives will return in just a moment. Let's now spare a minute or two to bring our guests into the show, starting from Joseph Edgar, also known as Duke of Somolu, a writer, social critic, and Loud Whispers columnist in This Day newspaper, using his platform to challenge Nigerians' political and social norms. We also have, or we're expecting to join us later, Agba Jalingo, a journalist and civil rights activist. Agba Jalingo, who is an Amnesty International prisoner of conscience, is also the publisher of Cross Rivers Watch. And rounding off that exclusive list is Jimmy Abia, a lawyer and public affairs commentator. Great to have all of you on Perspectives. Good to see you, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Being with you.
So let's even start with you. Let's start with VDM's story, because you know we have about 3 different stories to unfold this morning. What do you think of the mode of how VDM was arrested? You know, with the balaclava on his head and everything. How do you think that arrest was? And under Nigeria's criminal procedure, does it violate due process?
If you, for us to unpack what happened that day, from what was alleged, we didn't see the videos, but it was alleged that he was, the people who took him were masked, and they also covered his face, and then took him in their vehicle to ensure, and they beat him. He was beaten in the vehicle as they were taking him away. Now, these are clearly against the stipulations of our laws, both the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that deals with the liberty of persons and even the right, of a person who has been accused of an offense. Where a person is not violent during arrest, there's no reason, and for what he's being arrested for, if what the EFCC put out there is anything to go by, they said it is for financial crimes which have been alleged in letters which have been written to them, and for other sundry reasons which have been. So there is nothing that warrants that mode of arrest at all. There is nothing that warrants. It's not the regular procedure that before you arrest a person you have to use violence. So in other words, you have to cover. It was completely overzealousness. It's even beyond overzealousness. It goes on to intimidation. It's sort of that they set out, to intimidate, to ensure that even though there may not be anything, at that point in time that he is intimidated, he's made to feel some pain at that point in time.
Okay, so let's get Edgar in the house, please. Can we have Edgar, please?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Let's see you now. I want to see your dreadlocks. Can you?
I'm here in Abuja. Can you see me?
I can see you now. So let me ask you, with influencers...
Okay, brilliant.
Okay, good to see you. With influencers like VDM now in the spotlight, is this the new battleground for freedom of expression, and is mainstream media doing enough to defend these emerging voices?
I don't understand your question. Why should mainstream media defend this voice? Want to defend the voices?
Yeah, but, there's a new with him now in the spotlight. There's a new battleground for freedom of expression. So a lot of people are supporting him, and there are those that are also against him. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying. That do you think that the media is doing giving him a strong enough voice? Because aside from social media and mainstream papers, do you think he's getting a strong enough voice for his actions in support?
There's strong enough voice from mainstream media, or strong enough voice, from social media.
Any one of them? Do you think?
Let me understand you very well before.
He's being supported enough to give him a strong voice or to support his cause? Do you think he's being supported enough?
Okay, so I think there's a lot of childishness on the part of everybody involved. There's a lot of childishness on the part of the VDM. There's a lot of unprofessionalism on the part of the EFCC, and there's a lot of unprofessionalism, a lot of childishness on the part of those who are following him. I think that VDM should do his people that are following him a lot of good by being a little bit more strategic in the way he's moving. Yes, he has a lot of followers. Yes, he has that level of influence, but his engagements, usually, I don't use the word it's usually how do I put it now? Funny, So like the last video that he just he pushed out now, immediately came out of it. I listened very intently to that video, and there's no meat I could hold on to. I don't understand what he was saying, why he was arrested. He keeps saying, "Oh, GTB, I'm going to come back at you. Don't put money laundry." No, you see, he has a lot of followership from Nigerians who, in most cases, are not discerning enough to understand the issues he's trying to engage us with. So I think he owes us much more than just rants. I think he owes us a little bit of meat in his engagements. Now he has the audience. I guess maybe that's why mainstream media is not really giving him the kind of backing that he should have, going by the kinds of followership that he's taking. It should give us a little bit much more meat. It should be a little bit much more educative, in some of these submissions, so that those of us who are following on social media can learn a little bit more about the system, about the rules, about the laws of the land. So when you come out and say, "Oh, God punish your papa," "Oh, GTB, I'm waiting for you," those things are very sweet to hear. They're what they call irritating noise, and that's why it drags a lot of followers on the social media who, I dare say, may not be as discerning, as you would expect those who follow mainstream media. The challenge for him and those. The challenge for him and a lot of them who have this followership on social media is to be able to transmute this influence that they've got on social media into real raw power that can actually impact the system. I don't even understand what I'm trying to say.
It's good that you
So, for example, somebody has...
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Somebody has 20 million followers on social media, and that person goes for election and cannot muster 10,000 votes. So we're playing at the social media level of it. Do you get? We're playing social media. So I think VDM has a unique opposition. He has forced himself to the forefront. He has forced himself by sheer guts to the forefront of national discourse. I think he should go back to school. I think he should be more strategic. I think he should surround himself with quality advisors so that he'll be able to make more impact. Like, say, for example, the National Assembly invited him when he had the issue with Bobrisky and the Falanas. And for me, that was a golden opportunity for him to have stood up there and made some very strong statements that would shake the system. But he lost it because there's no capacity there beyond just that rant. He's gone beyond rants right now. He has used the rant to force himself into a reckoning. I think it's now time for him to now be more strategic in what he's doing. And by the time he gets more strategic, then...
Sorry that I keep disturbing you. Go ahead.
I'm hearing you.
No, so sorry. Let's finish your sentence.
So by the time he gets a little bit more strategic, then very serious elements within mainstream media, very serious elements within civil society, within governance, within the population will now give him the backing that he needs to be what it is, to be whatever it is that he wants to be.
Now, it's good that you mentioned the GTB angle, because the truth of the matter is that was where the incident happened. I don't know on what premise they're now saying GTB played a major role. Because let's face it, if he had been arrested at the airport or arrested taking this child to school or whatever, are you going to now say the environment or the place where he was arrested played a role in his arrest? So that GTB angle,
okay.
What's your take on that? I think that should be clear in the first place, that they had no role. It just happened to be their bank. It could have been any other bank.
No.
So why did they keep blaming GTB?
So my issue... it's very beautiful. Very beautiful. I like it. Because that throws up another issue, which I've tried to write an article about. Can social media bring down a brand? A very important question we need to ask ourselves.
Yes.
Do you get me now? Can social media bring down a brand? Does a social media titan have the powers to pull down a brand? That is the question that I was asking myself when all of this issue came up. His people says he was arrested in GTB. His people says that GTB was allegedly culpable. His people say, oh, let us move against GTB. Let us withdraw. So my question now is that with all your 12 million or 30 million, 50 million followers, do you now have the influence to affect a brand? That's a question we need to be asking ourselves.
But do you think
this answer to that question, then we don't know.
No, but do you think that this would affect GTB?
I don't think so.
I don't think so too either.
It can't affect GTB from here to there.
But I think
because
GTB,
what we have in social media is...
I think GTB too should go the extra mile to change the narrative, even if their brand is too big to be affected by it.
No.
I
think
so?
GTB should ignore.
But people are cutting their cards.
The same way, yes.
People are cutting their cards on social media.
It's what we used to call in Shomolu Tambolo bite. When soldier bite you, what does it? Can it kill you? It can't kill you. It's what in Shomolu we used to call Tambolo bite. When soldier ants bite you, can it kill you? It can't kill you now.
So you think GTB should just ignore it?
What we have, yes, totally. Because you can't engage a mob. There's no rationality. In a mob engagement. Do you get me now? That's why I say that very dark man has reached a position of prominence where he now needs to be more strategic, more qualitative in his engagements. Do you get me now? And then that way, then we'll begin to take it more seriously. Now, if you go to the comment sections of social media, the things you see there will just make you go to sleep. What's all this talk now? You get? So the question now is that how do we turn soft power, fluff power of social media into real, veritable power and influence that can impact society at the level of government, at the level of business, at the level of social activism? Okay. Are you getting me now?
Yes.
Are you getting, and that is why the onus on social on VDM and all of these people who have this large followership is for them to better educate themselves on these issues that they are trying to fight, and in the same vein, educate their people. I would have expected VDM to come out yesterday, call a press conference, and talk very intelligently about the issues that led to his arrest. Are you getting me now? And then also talk very intelligently about what Nigerians should do about that issue. Now, whether EFCC was correct or not in the way this is, that's another conversation we should have. EFCC themselves have obviously, allegedly gone overboard with this. The whole thing is now looking like child's play. Iyabos, make we deal with them. Iyabos, make we deal with him. Is that a serious organization? If the man has committed a thorough offense, then there are processes in which we follow. Do you get me now? To deal with that situation up to any level. But you can't carry somebody. The fact that he has been released after 5 days, I don't know what happened behind the doors. But from my secondary school civic class, I'm not a lawyer. I know that after 24 hours, you must be bailed. If you are not bailed, the authority can go to court and get the remand notice of 14 days. I don't understand why he's been released 5 days. It doesn't sit with the 24 hours or the 14 days. I don't know what has happened. You get me now? But as far as I'm concerned, you get me now, the EFCC must be a responsible organization. It must be guided and moved by the rules and laws of Nigeria. And at the same time, this other person who has made himself a self-imposed leader, a self-acclaimed leader of Nigerians, he too must understand how to move. He should go and read people like Gani Fahimi. You should go and read people like Barack Obama, people that have led movements, and see how they led those movements with intelligence, not with rants.
Okay, we are going for a short break.
So you can't have the kinds of...
No, why are you looking so... Finish your sentence. Finish your sentence, then we'll go on a break.
I can't.
Finish your sentence.
So
then we'll go on break. Make it short, then we'll go on break.
Okay, let me finish it. Let me finish it. VDM is in pole position to make things happen in this country, especially with the collapse of institutional opposition. Everybody is running to APC. Everybody, including my gate man. Do you get me now? So now, we no longer have credible opposition that is needed in a healthy democracy. Now, if VDM can move the kinds of people that he's moving, if he has the kind of this, then the onus is on him. And I repeat, he must help Nigeria by educating himself. He must help Nigeria by cleaning up his acts.
I don't give you time now.
So that's my position.
Okay, relax, Mr. Dreadlocks.
Thank you.
We're going on a short break. We'll be right back soon on Perspective.
I'm okay.
Don't go away. Welcome back to Perspectives. So, Jimmy, you heard what Edgar said about the lack of depth of VDM's critiques and what have you, and sometimes maybe his mode of delivery. So when it comes to public speeches that includes vulgarity or ridicule, where does the legal boundary lie between free speech and persecutable offences? Okay,
I think we must...
Where do you draw the line?
Yes, before I answer your question directly, I must make this point that it's important that we understand that the issue with the current issue is about his arrest, mode of arrest, mode of detention, and the time. So it's important that we, note that so that we don't conflate issues. I think that's I'm not about you, but from what the other guest said. So advising VDM is good and all that, but we are dealing with whether the mode of his arrest and all that was in
but
order.
There are other things that encompasses
but
the arrest.
That's by the way.
Which is why we're bringing up
now on the issue of vulgarity, now where someone has been vulgar in speech or has even defamed someone, defamation is a civil issue, which can actually, of course, there is criminal defamation, but the ideal modern practice with issues of defamation is to leave it within the civil sphere. Wherein the person who complains that he has been defamed can go to court and apply to court and bring an action in court saying that by the things said by this person that I have been defamed, and then it is for the action for the court to determine. So we are citizens, because we don't forget that under the Constitution, Chapter 2 of the Constitution guarantees citizens the right to free speech, the right to freedom of expression, and these are inalienable rights. These are fundamental rights.
Yeah, but what if you're not abusing the character of the person? Even if you are criticizing the acts of the person.
That is
when
why
you start abusing them personally, calling them names and what have you.
You abuse people, then they have the right to go to court, bring an action, a defamation action against you, either for if it's written for libel, if it is vocal, for
you can see that it's a very thin line.
Yes.
Because my mode of delivery might be vulgar. My mode of delivery might be belligerent and abusive. But the meat of my message is still there. So how do you now separate the two? If, for instance, I don't like the way you govern and I'm criticizing your government or criticizing your modus operandi when it comes to running your business or whatever, but I say that, but I now add different labeling of characteristic traits that are not flattering. How do you now separate the two between freedom of speech?
Let's make this clear. There is no prescription that criticism of government, of people in power must sound sweet.
It won't sound sweet.
It's not required.
The character of the person.
That is why the person is in public office.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the law does not. You see, what we are doing in Nigeria.
So I can say anything about anybody.
Of course, if the person feels offended by the things you have said, then the person can go to court and bring an action in defamation.
And if I go under the umbrella of freedom of speech,
there's no law that says that if you insult this person, if you insult people in government, it becomes a crime. Of course, these are old laws, sedition laws, and these are things that we have moved away from as a civilized democratic society. It is important, we must know this, that as a democratic society, it is important that right of citizens to freedom of expression is preserved, because that is how you can keep government and government officials in check. When that right has been reduced to the point that it has to sound sweet, before it meets the requirement.
It's probably the mode of delivery.
It doesn't matter.
Like the content of your message, just like Edgar was saying.
If we are to borrow from other democratic societies, we see it every time, where citizens carry effigies, say things, and all that. They are not. The government doesn't go and arrest everybody, pick up everybody because they say these things. If you feel seriously that you have been defamed, don't forget that also truth is a defense to defamation. So if you feel that the things said are false and that you have been defamed, then you can go to court, bring an action in defamation. That is how it should be in an ideal democratic society.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to Edgar. You know that VDM's message already said...
I don't agree with that.
Okay, you don't agree with what it says. Okay, what's your opinion?
No, I don't agree. All these things lead to distractions. You see, when you come and start abusing people because they have freedom of expression, it stands the risk of the message, of distracting the people from the message. We saw what happened when that former minister, Ezekwesili, went to the Senate panel on that Natasha's problem. You saw what she did with that guy. You saw what the guy did to her. Were we not able to even listen to what they went to do there? No, you see, what we need to understand now is that we have what they call new power. And this new power is with the youths. So we that we are older, what we need to do is to engage the youths and guide them towards using this new power responsibly. You cannot tell me that because I'm a public officer, you can come and call me a bastard. I should take because I'm a public officer, because you have freedom of rights, I should not go to court. No. And that is one of the reasons why this so-called soft power has not been able to transmute into effective power that we can use to change things in this country.
Okay,
freedom of expression, there's nowhere, I'm coming with, let me land.
Yeah.
Freedom of expression, there's nowhere, anywhere it's written that freedom of expression permits you to be abusive and be verbally, what's the word I want to use now? Verbally abusive. No. You marshal out your words. You be very strategic in how you come about your engagements. You get, and go and look at the freedom fighters of the middle past. Go and look at Gani Fahimi's speeches. Go and look at Femi Falana's speeches. Even Fela and Nicola Bokuti. Go and look at his speeches, and you will see the sophistication in their delivery. You see the beauty in their delivery that allows for that message to hit the mark. If I want to attack a public officer now and I start by calling me a bastard, everybody will forget about what I was trying to say. The issue will now be Edgar called somebody a bastard. Everybody will forget what we were trying to say.
I kind of see where Edgar is coming from.
You see, if the kitchen is too hot, if you feel that the kitchen is too, then you come out of the kitchen.
No, but there must be a balance.
You don't do the cooking. No, it's not.
There must be a balance of sorts.
When you are accepting public office, you accept everything. You accept everything that comes with it.
Even when you start abusing their children and abusing their spouses.
That's why some people will never go into public office, because they realize these things. You see, the power of public scrutiny is very important in a democracy, and it's important that Nigerians know this, so that this right is preserved. If at any point that Nigerians get to the point that the power of public scrutiny is taken away from Nigerians, then we will no longer have a democracy. So what he has said, I understand his concerns, and so to an extent, it's okay, because it's good for people to be able to express themselves in a decent way, in a decent manner. We also advise people that in their interactions, that they make it proper, so that they deliver their message properly to the public. However, that should not be taken as saying that if you do not deliver it in this manner, then that becomes an offense.
No, but
that's not the point.
Was unconventional in his mode of delivery, but he had meat.
Yeah, but that's
substance.
That's because we are looking at it today. At that time, people could also have said this, that, he shouldn't dress the way he dresses, he shouldn't do certain things he does because he's a public figure.
Nobody was judging him based on his dressing.
People had
the content of his message.
People had those sentiments. People had those sentiments. My point is simple, and this is a point that is immutable in law, which has been stated within the law, that the right to freedom of expression is fundamental to democracy.
Nobody's arguing about the right to freedom of expression. What we're saying is the mode of delivery.
That is what we're arguing about. Freedom of expression. We can advise people. We can advise people.
If you use abusive language that is so degrading and so degenerating that it doesn't even make sense anymore, you miss the meat of your message, and that's what he's saying about VDM. It's not you are a fool, you are this, you are whatever, and then start swearing. Get your message across, get your meat across, and you've now been put on a pedestal.
Simple.
To a certain extent, where a lot of the masses now look up to you.
It is important that we understand that there are two things.
Ruth, can I say something?
Yes.
Ruth, can I say something?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
You see, a lot of people. Yes, I'm talking. A lot of so-called social reformers hide their incompetence, hide their lack of understanding of the issues behind all of this abusive language. Fact. Ruth, you are a hostess of a program like this. Invite these people to your table and let's address the issues. You will see it's empty. It's easier to say you're a fool, you're a bastard, you are this one, you're that one, than to address the issue of security, than to address the issue of inflation.
Well, but you have to give VDM
the matter.
Well, but VDM's messages are not that. Some of them have some meat. I mean, I don't think that all of them are all.
Not all. Yes,
there's some. He's brought some solid points across.
Definitely not all. Definitely not all. Definitely not all. But if I'm a public officer, you come and abuse me, I will knock you. I won't take that. No, don't take me personally, because I am a public officer. Address public issues. Don't call me a bastard because my economic policies are not working. No, don't come at my father. Don't come at my mother. I won't take it.
Yeah, but being a public official, I can see where. No, but I can see where Jimmy is also coming from. Being a public official comes with its own sacrifices. No, you now become public property. Yes, you are not your own person anymore. So you might get listen. So because of that, listen. You might get more babs than you would have done if you were not in public office. It comes with respect and it comes with
because of that, my mother is a prostitute now.
No, I don't think anybody has gone as far as calling anybody's mother a prostitute.
My mother is a prostitute.
Nobody has gone as far as calling anybody.
They have.
No, I don't. Do you think anybody has gone that far?
I've not seen.
I've not seen anybody go that far.
Recent public discourse in Nigeria.
I think you yourself are exaggerating for the sake of effects as well at this point in time.
No, plenty on social media. Have you gone to comment section? Have you gone to comment section?
Okay, comment section.
Go to comment section. What is that?
No, but we're talking about the people who are giving the messages, not so much the comment section.
And you see why free speech is very important. Now he's going to comment section.
No, comment section.
You see why
sometimes
free speech is very important and freedom of expression. And that's why when we preach these things, it's not like it will always be palatable. It may not.
Yeah, but comment section are usually faceless
because
so
if we are also in public, we might also be in public eye, and people might also say things. But the point we must understand is that there's a difference between you making beautiful speeches, you making speeches that make a good point, and then the issue of your right to say the things you want to say. So these are two different things. I agree with him that it's important that discussions are made to be in the order it should be, so that people will get the meat of the message. I agree.
Anyway,
but again, that does not take away or erode that right which has been guaranteed of freedom of expression. So these are two different things.
Anyway, we are heading for a short break, but stay with us, because when we come back, we shall be revisiting issues raised in that highly sarcastic letter to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio by Senator Natasha Agboti-Uduaghan. The satirical letter. Perspectives will return in just a moment. Well, as far as sarcasm goes, the following recent letter by Senator Natasha Agboti-Uduaghan to Senate President Godswill Akpabio comes across as top of the range and should come highly recommended. I don't really agree with that, but it's a very interesting letter to read. Here it goes. From the desk of Senator Natasha Agboti-Uduaghan. The letter starts with, Dear distinguished Senate President Godswill Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theoretical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable nature to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient art of compliance, of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge in your quote-unquote request was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlements. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulation, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. I now realize the catastrophic consequences of my actions. Legislation delayed, tempers flared, and the tragic bruising of egos so large they require their own postcodes. For this disruption of the natural order of the quote-unquote quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous heart, somewhere buried deep between layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through elections, not erections. I remain yours in internal resistance, Senator H. Agboti-Uduaghan, unafraid, unbought, and unbroken. So I'm still here with my wonderful guests, and then let's get to Edgar, please. And I need to get Edgar's opinion on this letter. Can we have him in the house, please? Did you listen to the comment?
Yeah,
to the letter? Please, I want to know your candid view and opinion.
Yeah,
on this.
I did.
I need to know your opinion on this particular letter. It's a satirical letter, first and foremost.
Is that the erection, please?
I know. I know that one will catch your. That one will catch your ear. So what do you think? What do you think of the letter?
Oh, catch my ear. Oh, I think it's a very, very. I don't want to go and start using abusive word here now. I think it was just a letter that she wanted to use to distract attention from the fact that, as we speak, there's been no credible evidence as to whatever it is that she's alleging against the Senate president.
That doesn't mean she was
lying. As we speak today, there's nothing.
But we don't know. We don't know who's telling the truth. We don't know who. We haven't heard this. Not yet in court.
All of us are not. Ruth, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. You are not a witch. I'm not a wizard. What we know is what we see in black and white. So as far as we are concerned, as of today, there's no evidence in black and white as to the allegation. So that letter was a tongue-in-cheek way of, in my own opinion, trying to make mockery of the whole thing. You see, accusing a man of whatever it is that this lady has accused this person is a serious thing. Talk less of the position that this person is holding. If you cannot come out with serious evidence to substantiate your position, then there's a big problem. There's a very big problem, because this allegation, if not carefully handled, can affect the nation because of the people involved. So you cannot come and be doing tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, humor, election over such a serious allegation. And for the first time in my life, I support the Senate president who has taken this thing to court, if it's true, who has sued her for defamation. You cannot come and accuse somebody and then you are now doing tongue-in-cheek letter. If you are apologizing, apologise. If you are not apologizing, stand by your position. And the only way
she said it was a satirical letter that she just...
Good. So are we children? 200 million people. This is the biggest country in Africa. 200 million people. Why are we flashing around? If the man rape you or whatever it is he has done to you, show us evidence and take him to court.
She didn't say he raped her. She said he made sexual advances at her. She didn't say
No, I said it was a mistake. It just came out of my mouth by mistake. It came out of my mouth by mistake. Whatever it is that she said the man has done to her, then take it to court.
Yeah, but they are in court. But they are in court. And she claims that she has evidence.
Good. So good. Let the court determine. Leave all the sarcasm to me. I'm the king of sarcasm. Leave the sarcasm, leave the letter writing. Let the court determine. Let the process go ahead. We are waiting.
So do you think this letter was a distraction?
To see the end of this problem.
Do you think this letter was a distraction?
I think the letter was a bloody waste. I think the letter was a bloody waste of time. I'm sorry. I think the letter was needless. It was a bloody waste of time. It was meant as a distraction. Do you get me now? To distract Nigerians. If you have accused this man of this thing, we are waiting for the verdicts. Then we now know what to do. As Nigeria, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. We are the ones that voted the man in. So we are waiting to see what if our representative actually did this thing or not.
But your tone of voice is sounding as if you already disbelieve her.
When the court comes out,
your tone of voice is sounding as if you already disbelieve her.
Of course I disbelieve her.
Why do you disbelieve her?
Of course I disbelieve her. Come and beat me. Because there's no evidence.
No, but there are those who also disbelieve the Senate president. So there are two sides. Why are you taking a side already without getting to the conclusion? No, but why are you taking a side already without
I am Joseph Edgar. I work with my convictions until
why are you
I see
convinced?
Evidence.
Why are you convinced? Why are you convinced that she's lying?
Because I've not seen evidence. So I've not seen evidence. Ruth, can I wake up? Can you wake up? You can wake up and say, Edgar molest me. Then they'll come and bomb me to down. They'll come and arrest me. You have to show evidence now.
But you also realize that
it's not a spiritual thing.
No, listen. You also realize that it's not easy for a woman to come out and say that she was sexually harassed by somebody that powerful without having some form of evidence.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, you can't take... I think you should stay neutral.
Let the judge... No, listen. Let me clarify myself now before women come and start beating me now. Because I'm seeing text message from my people now on the phone now. Let me clarify it very clearly. I am a child of due process. If there's anything I hate in this life, it's arbitrariness. And that's what's killing this country. If a woman feels violated, any woman, not Senator Natasha, wherever it is, or any man, because men too have been violated. I have been violated many times in my life.
You've been violated?
If anybody feels sufficiently, I've been violated many times, but it's my decision. Whether I enjoy it or not, or whether I push it or not, it's my decision. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. The laws of Nigeria are very clear as to how you must move to get justice. If you now come and say, because for one reason or the other, you cannot come out for that thing, there's nothing anybody can do. What we have today now is she said, he said. That's what we have.
No, but
as far as I'm concerned, about what I have seen.
No, one thing I must insist. You cannot undermine the confidence and courage it takes for a woman to come out to say that she's being sexually harassed or sexually
I am not doing that. I am not doing that.
So
I am not doing that.
Don't be so quick to judge.
I am not doing that.
And I'm saying in this case, until we
I respect No, Ruth, wait. Let me talk now, because now I push myself to a place where if I don't clarify myself, I'll be beaten up by women. Okay. So listen carefully. Let me talk now. 1 second, I'll keep quiet after this now. I respect, I'm saying with all the strength I can muster, the courage of Senator Natasha, and any woman who comes out, or any man who comes out to say that I have been sexually harassed. Some of us have gone through that boat and we did not have the courage. So I respect them. I admire them, and I pray for them. But that is just the first step. The second step to get a conviction, either by the court of public opinion or by the court of law, is to provide sufficient evidence that this crime has taken place. Until that evidence has been submitted, I, Joseph Edgar, cannot be neutral. It will be evil for me to be neutral, because a man's career and reputation is at stake. Many men and women have lost their careers, lost their future based on mere allegations. I am not a lawyer. He who alleges must prove.
And I'm sure that will happen at some point.
I'm sorry.
That will come to pass at some point.
By grace of God. When it happens,
we must get to the end of the matter.
When it happens, I will decamp. Like PDP people going to APC. I will decamp to Senator Natasha and say, take me back. I'm sorry. But till then, this is where I stand. And every Nigerian must always address these issues with conviction, not emotions. You must move against these issues on the basis of convictions. What is right, not emotions.
I'm sure that is what is going to play out at the end of the day. The court is not going to judge the matter based on emotions. They're going to judge it based on evidence. But let me get back to you. And then you must come and tell us about when you were sexually harassed. That's not for today. Another time you will come and tell us your experience, and I want to know whether the act did happen. Anyway, let's get back to Jimmy in the house. So how does Nigerian law, for instance, interpret satire when it involves public officials, especially within legislative context? And what are the legal protections or limits under this defamation laws?
Let's make it clear. Satire, just like regular speech.
Yes. Should it be taken seriously?
It depends. Whether it is said in satire or is said in express speech, will depend on the context. For instance, if someone is trying to do comedy and maybe present some satire, it may not be taken
because she claims that it was satire, so it shouldn't be taken with the same seriousness.
Too seriously. But in serious communication, even if you communicate that message, through satire, through innuendos, it could still be defamatory. So the mere fact, you have to look at the context of what was. But again, back to what the issue and the legal issues surrounding that letter. I know that the Senate President has gone back to court to ask the court to restrict her from that publication and that she should withdraw the publication.
Yes. But has she done that?
I'm not sure. But of course, it's already in public space. People have copied it. So even if she withdraws it, it's already there in the public. Do
you think that was her aim, to ensure that she gets it out there and then now withdraw it later?
Oh well, I can't say for certain what she has in mind, what was in her mind, on her mind. But don't forget that on the other side, the Senate President, the President of the Senate team, have this thing they have been, pushing about one lady. Professor Mbweka or somebody who presented something, and I have seen on in the media. I've seen in the media the Senate President's representatives talking about that. Now, it is not coming from them.
No, but even when she showed her phone too, there was the message of the Senate President's name there.
Yes, but because it's in her phone, we can't say for certain, who owns that. But my point is this: there are people who represent the Senate President who have come on the media, both on social media and the formal media, to discuss this same. So if there's an order of court as there has been an order of court saying don't discuss these issues in public until determination. They are also as wrong as she possibly is.
Yes.
So you know, you can't approbate and reprobate at the same time.
That's true.
You are doing the same thing, and now you are rushing to court. So what it seems that all they want is simply to gag her, keep pushing things out there.
Their own narrative.
Yes, pushing their own narrative and then preventing her from speaking.
Yes.
I mean, apart from that letter, for a while, she has not really been in the media as she was. She's
but there's
someone
a lot of pushback from Senate President's sector.
Exactly. There's a lot of pushback from their angle. And then suddenly, this letter comes out, and that is why they've rushed back to court to ask the court to, you know, stop her from speaking.
In fact, the Mbeke woman's content of her message is even more damaging than the letter.
That's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what we're saying. Exactly. So damaging. There were a lot of things that were pushed out. A lot of allegations, a lot of accusations that were pushed out, which could dent someone's image entirely.
Yes, it even made people now wonder the authenticity of her claim.
Exactly. Because the number of the things which were said there, you know, do not seem true. Do not seem true.
Yeah. So the law should work both ways. Okay, now we've said enough about Latasha. Let me bring up the Peter Obi issue because we don't really have much time left. Peter Obi had complained or had made and said his own piece or made a statement about how Nigerians are not basically fulfilling the dreams of their forefathers. Obviously, the adequacy of governance came to play, and Senate President proceeded to reply by talking about what he had achieved when he was the governor, as opposed to what Peter Obi achieved when he was governor. So is this not a case of shooting the messenger instead of listening to the message? What's your take on that?
Exactly. I think what the President of the Senate is trying to do is to raise another discussion. You know, whenever the name Peter Obi, you know, is put out there, because, you know, he's one of the most popular politicians currently in Nigeria, it changes, people start discussing it. So probably he's in a hurry to move away from the discussion about the allegations against him, you know, within the past few months, and, you know, change the discussion so that what people are now discussing is Senate President talked about Peter Obi rather than the allegations against him, which he you know, he's trying to defend at this time.
Or even the content of Peter Obi's message.
That's what I'm saying. So in the hurry to change the narrative, he left the context. He probably didn't even understand the context of what Peter Obi is saying. What Peter Obi was saying, from what I understand, is that there were dreams and aspirations at independence, and that these dreams and aspirations have not been actualized in Nigeria. There were also dreams and aspirations pre-1999 when we came into this democracy, but that these dreams and aspirations of the dividends of democracy, of a free society, of a society where people thrive, have not been actualized. And that's what he was simply saying in that message. I do not see the reason why the Senate President... Now, for us to understand the context, this was on the floor of the Senate. Yes. Now, how do you go to the floor of the Senate to discuss a private citizen? That is even something that I thought that people should have raised this on the floor. Look, this man is not a senator. He is not here to defend himself. He is not an agency of government which you have the powers to make laws for. You are not oversighting him, and then you come to the floor of the Senate to take taxpayers' time. Because that time that he's sitting there is paid for by taxpayers. To take taxpayers' time to discuss a private citizen, that is something that we shouldn't have in this democracy. It is wrong, it's unethical, it is unacceptable. It is something that I felt that senators should have called him to order. And don't forget, that house is not a partisan house. It is a house that has members of Peter Obi's political party, members of PDP and other parties. So you don't not use that ground to play partisan politics of that nature.
Okay, let me go to Edgar. Edgar, what's your final take on this? You know, where do you think guiding personal image outweighs...
I don't...
Can you hear me?
I don't know what Obi said though. And I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Obi had said...
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Obi had said... criticized...
No. I don't want to discuss what will be said, but my colleague here has said something now that I want to address, which I want to address very quickly.
Yes.
You see, the Senate has the rights to discuss every Nigerian, including me, you, and this thing, because they are representative of the people. That is why we voted them there. Mm-hmm. They are representative of the people. So Senate can discuss private people if the issue has national implications.
Yeah, but when personal image,
an OB,
when personal image now outweighs, when personal image, branding of your personal image now outweighs accountability on national issues, don't you think there should be a balance?
That is your own excuse me. Of course, that is your own interpretation of this particular issue.
Yes, because that's what he did.
I may not see it as personal image, but that's what you think he did. You people are making me to defend Akpabio, and I don't like Akpabio. You are making me defend, but let us be very reasonable.
He talked about his progress as a governor. He talked about his progress as a governor, not his role as Senate president.
Yes.
So this was about branding yourself or rebranding your personal image, rather than addressing the issues that Peter Obi brought up.
No. He used his performance as a governor to illustrate his position in response to Obi's position. Perfect. Now, whether we agree with him or not is a different thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I can make a statement here, and the Senate must reply me if that my statement has national ramifications.
Okay, thank you. We've run out of time. Thank you so much, Joseph Edgar. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being with us on Perspectives. So we've seen how justice, power, and free expression collide in today's Nigeria. As we watch these political dramas unfold, it's clear that the fight for truth, justice, and genuine leadership continues to be a battle for the soul of our democracy. These aren't just headlines. They're reflections of who we are and who we hope to become as a people. And as I keep saying, life is a learning curve. That's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime. Until same time next week, when we hope to be here, do have a great time. See ya.